This is our home, a paradise. So beautiful and perfect, so harmonious that it could create life. Humans, so evolved and intelligent, capable of replicating nature's power of creation. With the discovery of fossil fuels and petroleum and the generation of power and electricity, we advanced in technology and infrastructure. And our world began to change. Population increased, and we started needing more energy. Thus we changed the face of the earth. But do we realize that our creations are slowly destroying the earth?
At present, we are spewing more than 110 million tons of global warming pollution into the atmosphere every single day, as if it's an open sewer. So yes, we do have to change. The scientists have long warned us that we must, and now Mother Nature is doing so with her much more powerful voice.
Solar panels were first used in satellites because we wanted it to last forever. Otherwise, the batteries would wear out.
Do we have the ability to solve this crisis? Fortunately, the exciting answer to this question is also yes.
अगर हम डेवलपमेंट एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली नहीं करते हैं, विकास और प्रकृति पर्यावरण की रक्षा नहीं करते हैं, तो विकास हमारे लिए भी संकट बन सकता है.
Avada is a leading builder of renewable energy projects in India. We have built complex solar and wind power projects aggregating to over 1.1 gigawatt capacities across diverse geographies. We have built some of India's largest capacities. We were the first in the country to build a 1 gigawatt solar portfolio.
This is only the beginning. We need scale to power the entire country using the solar, scale to change the brown sources of energy with cleaner sources of energy like solar and wind. Thanks to our amazing engineering, procurement and construction team, we have managed to do the solar project and wind project in a very economical and sustainable fashion.
Our emphasis on systems and processes has enabled the organization for flawless execution by consistently decreasing its on-ground development cycle, thus completing projects several months before schedule. We have pioneered solar power solutions, both in terms of plant size and total installation capacity, helping bring the solar tariff closer to grid parity. The plants we have built were numbered among those with the highest efficiency in India.
We are showing the world that solar energy is not only a sustainable form of energy, but investing in solar can be profitable too.
With our strong EPC execution capabilities and project portfolio, we had managed to build a competitive advantage through already locked-in land banks, long-term signed MOUs, PPAs, with state utilities. We have drawn investors like Asian Development Bank, General Electric Capital, and DG from Germany for our past projects.
In next 5 years, India should become the largest clean energy power producer in the world.
We need to be responsible because in the coming years, India is going to be a major manufacturing hub for the world. Currently, Germany, Denmark and Costa Rica are the leading countries with regards to renewable energy generation.
In the next 10 years, we will take India forward to a sustainable journey.
Avada is a socially conscious organization conceived with a vision to look at all levels of social change. The scalability of renewable projects allows its usage in varied geographies and applications. This presents a unique advantage for India, where 540 million out of 1.2 billion Indians do not have access to electricity.
Teachers from government school are trained in specialized subjects to enhance their training delivery mechanism by using experiential training methodology. We work with the women in the rural communities to ensure that they can learn stitching, they can learn the beautician course. It doubles the income of the family, and what it also does, it ensures that women's own self-esteem becomes better. As a holistic, environmental friendly company, our green efforts does not stop with clean energy. Due to non-availability of medical services and lack of awareness among rural Indians, we are seeing a high rate of infant mortality. We need to bridge this gap which exists between urban and rural India.
I know the world can come together as one at a time of crisis. We always have.
This is a moment in time when business leaders, government officials, and citizens from all over India have come together to embrace the potential for a bright new future and a sustainable world.
We are the generation responsible for the way we are going to be for the next 500 years. All we have to do is to start looking up at the sky. Let's create a history that's going to be cherished. Avada, promise of a sustainable future.
GE Renewable Energy.
We harness the Earth's most abundant resources.
The strength of the wind.
The heat of the sun.
And the force of water.
Delivering green electrons to power the world's biggest economies.
And the most remote communities.
With an innovative spirit.
And an entrepreneurial mindset.
We engineer energy products, grid solutions, and digital services
that create industry-leading value for our customers around the world.
We see the promise of renewable energy
everywhere we look. Our team has the courage,
scale,
passion, diversity, and resourcefulness needed to deliver that promise
wherever and however the world needs it.
Together with our customers, we're proving that no one ever has to choose between affordable, reliable,
accessible, or sustainable energy.
We are unleashing limitless energy.
Honorable Minister, with your permission, if we could start. Yeah? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. A very good evening, morning, good afternoon, a very good early morning to our minister from Brazil. We will be joined by the Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways of the Government of India, Mr. Nitin Gadkari. Great to welcome the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Mr. Marcos Pontes, from the Government of Brazil. We have with us Tarun Soni, who has been the co-chair of the CII's Task Force on Bioenergy, and myself, Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of the CII. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, great to welcome all of you. And as I mentioned, we'll be shortly joined by the Honorable Minister of India. But the theme, Excellencies, today, as we see, is Farm-to-Fuel, Sustainable Bioenergy Solutions for Aatmanirbhar Bharat. So it's great to have this collaboration and this participation, and a very special welcome to Mr. Marcos Pontes, the Honorable Minister from Brazil. We are waiting to hear your leadership and your experience of Brazil in a great journey that it has had on alternate fuels and the application of flexi fuel technology. Excellency Minister Pontes, I know it's a very, very early morning in Brazil, so we really appreciate this special effort of yours and welcome you again. This is an annual flagship forum of CII, the Confederation of Indian Industry, in this particular space, and it really engages to bring in all our stakeholders to promote bioenergy in the country, facilitate technology, R&D, and conducive ecosystems to attract investments and ensure its overall growth. And so great to have Brazil as our partner country for this. I just wanted to share, to lay the context, three key aspects of energy transition that is taking place in India to just set the the ball rolling of this conference. First, India has indeed made rapid strides in renewable energy arena and has emerged as one of our leading nations, as one of the leading nations in promoting green energy. And today we are fourth in the world in terms of installed RE capacity, fifth in solar, and fourth in wind in terms of installed capacity. As we are celebrating the achievement today of touching 100 gigawatts of installed renewable energy without hydro, it is very much evident that India is not only on the track in achieving some very ambitious goals, but also even set to cross the target of 450 gigawatts by 2030. The second point that I wanted to say was, over the last few years, India has made a very significant progress in promoting alternative fuels, particularly bioenergy and ethanol blending program. And today, India aims to have 20% ethanol blending starting by 2023. As a huge step, positive step towards promoting bioenergy, and we believe it will have many important impacts. Not only we expect it to provide remunerative returns to all investors, it will bring major changes in the, particularly what is in focus, the rural economy, as it opens up a new window for enhancing farmers' income and also creating job opportunities in the biofuel producing industries. And the third and my last final point is a successful E20 program can really save our country easily up to $4 billion US per year, and significantly reduce the pressures of pollutions, etc. So these are just 3 points I just wanted to make, as we have several sessions following, several important speakers in our midst over today as we begin this session and tomorrow. So once again, a very warm welcome to everybody, in particular our partner country and the minister from our partner country, Brazil. Honorable Minister, thank you very much, Minister Pontes. With that, I'll now bring in someone from the Indian industry, a practicing person, Tarun Soni, who, as I said, he has been leading the work of bioenergy. And Tarun, today your company, Triveni, is amongst the largest, if I can say, fully integrated sugar and alcohol manufacturer in India. And you have been associated with bioenergy for several years, and I've seen your passion about its development as mainstream industry, contributing to energy security of the country. So Tarun, why don't you share some important industry perspectives with this fantastic audience that we have here, and of course, the presence of the minister from Brazil. Over to you, Tarun.
Thank you, Chandrajit. Ladies and gentlemen, may I also add my very, very warm welcome to the Honorable Minister Marcos Pontes, Honorable Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Government of Brazil. So it's a great pleasure to have you with us today. This is a very important conference, and the subject of bioenergy is one that is extremely important to India, not just today, but going forward as well. As we wait for the Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkariji to join, perhaps I can start by sharing some of my comments on this particular subject. Let me also say that your presence is a source of huge encouragement for us all who are associated in this bioenergy sector, and we're keenly awaiting to hear your perspectives and advice and guidance. The theme, as Chandrajit Banerjee mentioned, for this session and this conference is Farm-to-Fuel, Sustainable Bioenergy Solutions for an Aatmanirbhar or a self-reliant India. For me personally, there are three takeaways from this particular theme. The first is sustainability, the second bioenergy, and the third is Aatmanirbhar Bharat, which means self-reliant India. As far as sustainability is concerned, there's been a global push for mitigating climate change, and our country has made voluntary commitments in the COP Paris Agreement to cut its GHG emissions. Accordingly, the bioenergy has a very important role to play therein. Bioenergy, as you know, replaces fossil fuels and helps our environment. Approximately 10,000 megawatts of power generation is established based on bagasse and biomass power in India. About 8,000 megawatts through bagasse, which is the refuse, of course, from sugarcane, and other biomass contributes to 2,000 megawatts in India. However, the real impact is from the biofuel segment. The country has been taking huge strides in biofuel production and is very close to achieving 10% ethanol blending, which will happen in 2022. And this was envisaged as early as the National Biofuel Policy, which came out in 2018. The confidence that has been gained has been demonstrated by an advancement of the target for 20% ethanol blending by 2025, which was 2030, just a few quarters ago. And this commitment has been reinforced and actually has been made by the Honorable Prime Minister of India on World Environment Day this year. So it's extremely important to all of us here today. This would require, of course, an indirect and direct investment of 100,000 crores, which leads to a huge amount of income in rural India. And this is one of the priorities, of course, for the government. And apart from a huge employment creation, the impact that it has on other economies and associated economies is also going to be keenly felt. E20 will require a huge increase in the supply of ethanol and massive augmentation in supplies. And therefore, there are certain challenges with respect to feedstocks, etc. But these are all, in my opinion, achievable targets. The summit will also focus on various challenges and how to overcome them, including the capacity augmentation in this short period of time, the availability of feedstocks, etc. And very honestly speaking, the induction of flex fuel technology within India. And I think that is an area where we have much to learn from Brazil. The third pillar is Aatmanirbhar Bharat, which is a self-reliant India. The entire technology, equipment, material, feedstock are all indigenous in this plan of achieving E20 in our nation. In addition, there is also an enormous potential for 2G second generation ethanol, a product which of course is now being developed at commercial scale in Brazil. And so again, we have a lot to learn from Brazil in this particular area. Another important bioenergy area is CBG, compressed biogas, which has huge potential and is ripe for takeoff. And it requires a few policy tweaks potentially, but it is a sector that has enormous potential in terms of employment generation and additional to the national energy map in India. As I had mentioned, Brazil is the leader in ethanol blending in the world, and on behalf of everybody here today, the hundreds of people that have signed on today, we are delighted to welcome you, Honorable Minister Marcos Pontes, the Honorable Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Government of Brazil. And it's a great pleasure again to have you here. And with these words, let me just hand it back to Chandrajit.
Thank you very much, Tarun. Once again, a special mention of our Honorable Minister from Brazil, Mr. Marcos Pontes, the Minister for Science and Technology and Innovations, the Government of Brazil. And I must say, before I invite you, Honorable Minister, 45 years ago or so, when 1 liter of ethanol was worth about 3 times more than 1 liter of gasoline, most nations would not have considered investing in it as biofuels. But your government, the Brazil's government, massive investment in infrastructure and research between 1975 and 1989 allowed your country to really become a leader in the ethanol market. Brazil today is producing the cheapest ethanol and have one of the most successful ethanol blending program in the world. It will be exciting to learn from you, exciting to know from you, Mr. Minister, the Brazil story and your thoughts and your inputs on this very important subject that we have in front of us today. May I invite you, Mr. Marcos Pontes, to deliver your special address at this summit.
Honorable Minister, I think you're on mute.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
CB, you're on mute. Honorable Minister, Mr. Gadkari has also joined.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Mr. Honorable Mr. Pontes, you are on mute. We can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. We are also joined by our Honorable Minister. I just wanted to flag it to you, Mr. Pontes. Our Honorable Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, the Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Government of India, is also here with us as you begin to speak, Mr. Pontes.
Oh, thank you very much. Honorable Minister Shri Gadkari, Director Chandrajit Banerjee, Mr. Tarun Soni, and all of you that are following this important event. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you very much for this opportunity of talking about this subject, which is very important, very precious here for in Brazil. I also like to congratulate the minister and India for taking investments, for investing in renewable energy, especially in bioenergy. So it's very, very important subject. I had the opportunity of going to India for the launch of our Amazon 1 satellite, and I was really impressed with the Indian technology, and I had a chance to visit the Technology Institute in Bangalore, and everything was really amazing, remarkable. So I'm also counting on the India technology for partnership here with Brazil. And I'm sure this area is also a very important area that we can cooperate. Let me talk a little bit about the bioenergy and renewable energies here in Brazil and how the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations, how we are working in partnership with the Ministry of Energy here in Brazil and other areas of the country to improve those technologies needed for those areas. First of all, climate change. We know that we need to work hard in technologies to avoid or to prepare for the impacts of climate change. And having renewable energies is a really important subject to reduce carbon emission and to get the countries kind of self-sufficient in the production of energy, especially for transportation and for the industry. In Brazil, we've been investing in bioenergy for a long time, and we have our matrix of energy here is pretty much using renewable energies. And this is a very important point here for us. At this moment, we are having some problems with the water level of the reservoirs for hydro energy. But for sure, the other kinds of renewable energies are being even more important now in the country to participate. We have about 40% of our grid of energy here from renewable energies. And bioenergy is about 16% of our grid of energy here in Brazil. We started the program for ethanol in 1933 here in Brazil. It's a very, very old program that we've been working since then, investing in this kind of technology and the infrastructure for this. As a test pilot, my old career in the Air Force, I had a chance to fly even an Air Force airplane using ethanol as the fuel for the engine of that airplane. And this is important to emphasize how Brazil has driven the fuel here in Brazil to the ethanol and other biofuels here. In 1975, the government started a program that we call Pro-Álcool or Pro-Ethanol here in Brazil. And nowadays we have 381 ethanol plants in Brazil, and they are able to produce about 35 billions of liters of ethanol by year here in Brazil. And we use a high percentage of ethanol in our fuel. For 18 years, we've been working in flex fuel cars here in Brazil. And they are the majority of the cars running in Brazil at this moment. Also, we have several other technologies that we've been working in this ministry in terms of bioenergy and also renewable energy as a complete strategy here. For example, we have a program called Biofuels or Bioenergy here that we work together with the Ministry of Energy and especially in some of our research centers. Actually, we are creating a new, at this moment, we are creating a new center for renewable energy in northeast of Brazil, in Campina Grande city. And this center will be responsible for developing technologies for solar energy, wind energy, also hydrogen, green hydrogen energy. So they are working in the front end of the technology, trying to improve the technology existent in those areas, as well as creating new technologies. In terms of bioenergy and biomass, if you look at our plants here for ethanol, they use completely sugar cane. When I say completely, everything is used from there. So to produce alcohol, sugar cane, also they use the biomass to produce energy. So and the technology for this is being improved year by year. So we are getting better and better plants and systems for producing ethanol in Brazil, what gives us the possibility of having ethanol in I say in a very cheap and also very efficient manner. And we know that the combination of biofuels with electrical in cars or buses or trucks, this is a way of going. And so we are also working with batteries using niobium and graphene. So development of better batteries that can be used. Also, we're working with batteries of sodium with the Itaipu Energy Park, technological park in the south of Brazil. We've been developing this kind of batteries, and we have already some prototypes running with the electrical, using those kinds of battery and ethanol and other biofuels, by the way. So I don't have much time here to talk. We have several different technologies, but we have a center which is called the National Center for Energy and Materials in Campinas. It's connected with this ministry. And we have already a partnership with India through this center. So what I would like to propose is to improve this partnership so we can share technologies, we can work the companies, because this is an institution that can work directly with the private sector here in Brazil. So we could even have the partnership between companies here in Brazil and India, and with the help of this institution in terms of high-end technologies, we can for sure help India, and also getting the help of the technology of India here in Brazil. As I said at the beginning, I'm really impressed with the technology of India. I remember my time in NASA as well. I had the chance to work with several engineers from India, and I really admire the quality of your professionals in India. And for sure, we can connect our research centers, we can connect our production sector or the companies, India and Brazil. And you can count with the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations here at the government with Brazil, and with me personally, to help for this cooperation to be improved even more. So India is one of our preferred partners here in Brazil. President Bolsonaro always say about this, the importance of our partnership with India, and for sure, he also is going to approve and to help us with this cooperation. So thank you very much. Count on Brazil, count on the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, count with our technology here to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ponte, Minister. Great story from Brazil, and what a fascinating journey on biofuels for your country, and many learnings from your presentation today. And we really deeply appreciate your sharing this with the audience which is present here today. You've joined us very early morning in Brazil, so real effort. Thank you very much. And you have made some very valuable comments on thoughts on partnership at the B2B level as well as at the B2G level. I'm sure our Honorable Minister would also refer to some of the points that you have made. But at this point in time, I would also like to once very warmly welcome the Honorable Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji. Very warm welcome to you, and it's an honor to have you and your kind presence and participation at today's conference. We have always looked at you as our guide, and we really admire you for preempting industry to take some very important and new challenges, find solutions that business need to get going and business need to do big. And your leadership and passion definitely on infrastructure, but on green and sustainable solutions, on energy, alternate fuels, is known to all of us, and and you really speak from your heart when you speak on this subject. So it's so fantastic to have you here. So, sir, today's theme is Farm-to-Fuel, Sustaining Bioenergy Solutions for Aatmanirbhar Bharat. And Honorable Minister, we really keenly look forward to your vision, your advice and guidance, particularly against the backdrop of India's aspiration to be Aatmanirbhar in the energy sector. And India's leadership in this space is indeed commendable, and we have seen your leadership on this very important area. Sir, this is an annual flagship event or a forum for the industry, for CII, and it really aims to engage all stakeholders to promote bioenergy in the country, facilitate technology, R&D and conducive ecosystems to really attract investments and to ensure overall growth. Brazil is a partner country, and you heard the Honorable Minister from Brazil just make this beautiful presentation. And tomorrow, sir, we will have full-fledged sessions with Brazil to be addressed by certain experts. We also have US as another partner country. And again, there will be a separate session on US tomorrow. And at this summit, we have many other focus sessions like the CBG, CBG technology, state policies, and many other issues. And at this point in time, honorable ministers, both of you, we have more than 800 key industry, very senior members attending from India as well as from certain other countries, which really shows the great interest in the bioenergy sector. At that, I'll really turn to our Honorable Minister, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji. But I must say another few lines, sir, because of your very special association with this subject. Your views for India to aggressively shift to use of alternate fuels, ethanol, methane, biodiesel, has given birth to many, many initiatives today by the central as well as the state government, and encouraged all of the people in the industry to venture into this area of alternate fuels. I'll just take one recent example. When you recently launched the bio-CNG run tractors, we have millions of tractors using diesel, which affects the environment so strongly. Your leadership will really make a huge difference to the energy sector with this particular launch. And so you have also been advocating for use of alternate fuels for construction equipment, which is another industry that can make a phenomenal difference. So I can go on, but with many examples, your personal push for higher ethanol blending and flexi fuel vehicles, really something that will make us in the country move away from fossil fuel to more green and clean energy. Great honor and a great privilege to have you with us. With that, I invite you and request you, Sri Nitin Gadkari, our chief guest, to give the inaugural address.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, Mr. Marcos Pontes, Minister for Science and Technology and Innovation, Government of Brazil, Mr. Tarun Sawanthi, Co-Chairman, CII, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, CII, all distinguished dignitaries, invitees, and all my dear friends. I would like to thank CII for inviting me to address this session on Farm-2-Fuel, Sustainable Bioenergy Solutions for Aatmanirbhar Bharat. And this is really a very, very loving subject for me, which is touching to my heart. From last 15 years, I am constantly pursuing this. So it is really a great opportunity for me. And here our Science and Technology Minister from Brazil is here. And really, it is a role model for the world, that the way in which they develop the ethanol, bioethanol, and the way they are using it for the automobile industry. At the same time, they are reducing pollution and they don't need to import crude oil. That is really a great achievement as far as the Brazil is concerned. One of the suggestions, Chandrajit ji, for you, that you should have this SIAM organization, Automobile Manufacturing Association. And here I will suggest CII to take 8 to 10 days tour of all these automobile manufacturers in India to Brazil, and to study and making research of all this alternative technology, which is alternative fuel, biofuel, bioenergy, which is available. On the basis of that, it will give a new vision for our industry. And you are taking the initiative in it. I'm really happy. I'm giving my special thanks to you. I'm happy that Mr. Marcos Pontes, Minister of Science and Technology and Innovation, Government of Brazil, is here today in this session. The minister has shared the experience of Brazil in the use of alternate fuel and flex fuel technology, which are very much useful and relevant to the Indian context also. Both Brazil and India are stepping ahead on the sustainable energy roadmap through technology transfer and sharing our experiences. We can surely establish a self-reliant energy ecosystem in our countries. The theme of today's session resonates with the role of the bioenergy sector in addressing multiple energy needs of the power, fuels, and heat with the locally available, nationally adaptable solutions. We all know that the globally bioeconomy is evolving through innovations and developing technologies for producing widely affordable bio-based transportation and industrial fuels. India is one of the fastest growing economy, leading to sustainable and climate neutral development. We strongly believe that society should be livable, workable, and sustainable for all, with an important focus on ethics, ecology, and the environment. India is committed to meet the Paris Climate Agreement, where efforts are centered to reduce carbon emission by 33 to 35% by 2030. While the government is focusing to create an investor-friendly ecosystem to promote domestic manufacturing, parallelly, we are also giving importance to infrastructure development and a National Infrastructure Pipeline, NIP, a first of its kind initiative to provide world-class infrastructure across the country, has been expanded to cover more than 7,300 projects with a planned investment of $1.4 trillion by 2025. The government of India is also developing various industrial corridors projects to enhance India's competitiveness by the creation of quality infrastructure ahead of demand for attracting investment and fascinating India as a strong player in the global value chain. The rapid urbanization and growth in infrastructure as well as the manufacturing sector have greatly fueled the demand for our transportation sector. Today, India consumes about 30% of the world's oil and petrol diesel needs. And unfortunately, our energy demand is heavily import dependent, that is 85% for crude oil, 53% for gas, and 24% for coal. We are spending over $160 billion on their imports. Further, India is the world's third largest emitter with the 3.6 gigatons of CO2 equivalent across all sectors. These issues have a huge impact on the economy, environment, and human health. The calls for ensuring energy security for India, and therefore the emphasis of the government is to reduce important dependence, the uses of fossil fuels, and the environmental pollution issues, driving a strategic role for biofuels in the Indian energy basket. We are consistently taking necessary steps to decarbonize the transport sector by reducing the harmful greenhouse gas emissions. We are committed to adopt import substitute, cost-effective, indigenous, and pollution-free modes of transport in the country. Till now, India has made significant progress towards improving green energy access while increasing the integration of renewable energy. And our agriculture is our real strength, and we are intended to diversify it into the energy and power sector. India's fuel energy security can be well supported by agriculture. It provides opportunities for concepts such as waste to wealth and waste to energy, and ultimately leading to the benefit of all. These targets will be achieved through a 5-phase strategy, which includes adopting biofuels and renewables, implementing energy efficiency norms, improving refinery processes, increasing domestic production, and achieving demand substitutions. This strategy uses a strategic role for biofuels in the Indian energy basket. The announcement on advancing of the target year for 20% ethanol blending for 5 years to 2025 and 5% blending of biodiesel in a diesel by 2030, directing oil companies to sell 20% ethanol blended petrol from April 1, 2023, and BS specification for higher ethanol blends. E12 and E15 gives an indication the importance that government gives to biofuels and alternative source of energy, particularly for ethanol. I always make it a point to highlight the success story of how Brazil has managed to effectively utilize blends of ethanol and even flex engines. Our Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, has recently launched 300% ethanol pumps, and the Petroleum Ministry has now given permission to set up many such dispensing units to private entities. My vision is that with the surplus sugar, rice, and maize, India can completely transform the fuel landscape in India by introducing a circular economy of ethanol. Ethanol not only reduces the greenhouse gas emissions, but also diverts the additional income towards farmers, and this is very important. which will help the rural sector to increase per capita income, GDP, and agriculture growth rate in the area. The Brazil and India are two nations with lot of commonalities, especially when we have constraints of resources for development activities. It is always preferable to empower the rural and backward section of the society and make them prosperous. Brazil is a nation with the highest ethanol consumption at 47% of auto cycle fuel, and hence the complete world can adopt the Brazilian model for ethanol uptake. Also, according to a report from December 2020, the flex fuel cars in Brazil accounted to 83% of total light vehicle fleet. Brazil has also made 27% of fuel blend mandatory since 2015, which is a very, very commendable step. As a result of all these efforts in Brazil, ethanol was able to successfully substitute 3.29 billion barrels of gasoline between 1975 to 2020, giving a net saving a 607 billion US dollar. This is a great achievement. I recognize Minister for your efforts and giving thanks that you are giving new vision to the world. The import substitution is a powerful concept. It allows for uses of funds towards multiple developmental activities, which can completely eradicate the poverty. Ethanol has this capacity to drive the growth of rural agriculture income with an added advantage of reducing harmful vehicular emissions. Ethanol's high octane level also complements gasoline and thus enables the use of lower cost blend feedstocks. In a way, use of more ethanol is a blessing in disguise for automobile companies. It helps them to meet most restrictive CO2 emissions, for which there are stringent norms such as CAFE regulations. And I was recently given a presentation by the president of Brazilian Institute of Bioenergy and Bioeconomy, and I was told that how hybrid engines or flex engines with a mix of petrol, flex and electric can drastically reduce vehicular greenhouse gas emissions. The cradle to grave approach, which means that the complete life cycle of the fuel up to its emission matters a lot. By this approach, I was told that the Euro 6 equivalent petrol engine emits 127 grams of carbon dioxide emissions as compared to hybrid flex ethanol based engine, which emits only 29 grams, which is 37% decrease in emissions. This is a very powerful fact, and this can lead us towards drafting policies and incentives for mass uptake of hybrid flex engines. India is committed to an imminently achievable clean energy-based economy through an annual roadmap for production, supply of ethanol till 2025-26 and system for its country-wide marketing. The GST Council in India reduced the tax rate from 12% to 5% on biodiesel sold to oil marketing corporations for blending with diesel. Our Petroleum Ministry announced simplified regulations for authorization of bulk and retail marketing of fuel such as petrol and diesel, and has mandated for alternative fuel stations on of new dispensing units. Our government has invited all private companies, including PSUs, to work in the sector when they can even import LNG. LNG as a fuel is economically viable for long-run trucks and buses. I have inaugurated India's first commercial LNG pump in Nagpur. The economics is so good that the cost of conversion is rupees 10 lakh, and which can be recovered in 295 days with an average of 5 km per hour. LNG has a potential future in the country, and it is gaining prominence as a fuel of choice for long-haul transport. Our government is committed to reducing logistic cost by promoting and adopting clean and green technology to save ecology of the environment. And we are rapidly shifting our public transport fleet on green fuels like bio-CNG, ethanol, methanol, electricity, and green hydrogen, as this will provide the citizens some respite from surging petrol prices by utilizing alternative fuels. Also, it is required that the transport vehicles are modernized to save on the fuel bill and also contribute to the economy and pollution reduction. To this effect, my ministry is in talks with automakers for flex engines, and for using biodiesel, electric and LNG is the construction equipment industry. We will soon announce a policy for flex fuel engine, and this policy will encourage automobile manufacturers to produce such engines. I also launched the first ever agriculture tractor run on bio-CNG, and the economic allows saving of rupees 1 lakh per Indian farmer per year. We can make bio-CNG from biomass like rice straw, cotton straw, wheat straw, and even for municipal waste also we can make bio-CNG, and that is going to give a new economy to the municipal solid waste management and liquid waste management. Even we can make methane from liquid waste available in the municipal corporation, and where we can make bio-CNG from that. We will make CO2, make it different from, make it, we can make it CO2, and use of CO2 is also a value addition. We have a lot of technology available that we can make ethanol and methanol from CO2. So it's a big challenge. You should take one workshop on what is the value addition in CO2. That can be a great thing for the country, that if you can convert CO2 value added into the new products. So here we can make from methane bio-CNG, and we can bifurcate CO2 from that. And that bio-CNG we can use for buses, and particularly the vehicles for which are going up to 250 to 300 kilometers per day, or the municipal corporation transport, the cars and everything, and the tractors. This is very important. We are also working shift intercity bus fleets under state road transport undertaking on alternate fuels. These would provide multiple benefits to farmers, the transport sector, the environment, and the economy. To support the expansion of this magnitude in alternate fuel and renewable energy, the government has been making all efforts to strengthen and expand the complete bioenergy sector to make India self-reliant. Initiatives like production link incentives have been taken to promote the domestic manufacturing industry and to encourage public-private partnership where the private capital can be harnessed for better public transport. As expected, we are gaining good momentum in the electric vehicle ecosystem in the country. There is a good response for battery-operated small electric vehicles like a scooter, electric three-wheelers, e-rickshaw, e-carts, and e-bikes in the country. We are specifically focusing research on alternative battery chemistry such as sodium ion, zinc ion technology. The government is promoting the use of renewable energy such as solar, tidal, and wind to change the electric vehicles. We have abundant solar energy. Solar generated electricity charges are very low and ensure a zero carbon emission cycle in electric vehicle in ecosystem. As we all know that the green hydrogen is made by splitting water using renewable power over time. The green hydrogen as an energy carrier can replace some of our energy imports. Green hydrogen is a zero carbon fuel and sustainable alternative to coal, oil, and gas-based energy sources. 70% of green hydrogen production cost come from electricity cost. Hence, we have emphasis surplus electricity from renewable energy sources, which can enhance green hydrogen production economics also. And there is a huge potential for that. The green hydrogen will be an ideal power source for energy intensive industries like refining, steel, cement, fertilizer, mining, and industrial heating. Our government has already announced a national hydrogen energy mission, where about $110 million has been set aside to establish hydrogen-based energy ecosystem in the country. We are focusing on the development of technology for the production of hydrogen and e-fuels, and we are specifically focusing research on production of green hydrogen from non-conventional sources such as sewage water. India is focusing on hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicle technology exclusively for heavy long distance trucks, buses, marine and aviation application. We are also planning to run a railway, metro and long-term intercity buses on green hydrogen. Both battery electric vehicle and fuel cell vehicle technologies are complementary to each other, and we are all set to overtake fossil run automotive by 2050 in the country. For the production and dispensing of hydrogen, we are working on the development of low-cost electrolyzer technology, as India is a highly cost-conscious market And there are huge expectations of rapid reduction in the cost of electrolyzers and also fuel cells. Piloting of HCNG, hydrogen blended with CNG, is also going on, and it helps the transport sector learning to handle hydrogen. We have performed successful pilots in Delhi for SCNG with 18% blending, and we have observed huge reduction in emissions. Brazil and India can work on the research and development of biofuel-based fuel cell technology, and we have surplus ethanol and biomass production, which can be used as a source of energy by large using appropriate technology. Another area where we can extend our cooperation is the retrofitment technology of older gasoline vehicles into electric or CNG or LNG. The large number of commercial vehicles, trucks, buses are needed to convert into alternative fuel compatible engine vehicle at affordable cost. I sincerely hope that all our mutual initiatives and efforts would bring revolution in the global transport sector. Finally, I must reiterate that our government is fully committed to making India a self-reliant India. Our focus is to build a world-class, cost-effective and efficient bioeconomy base to make India and Indian industry global competitive. Actually, our size of our automobile industry is 7,50,000 crore. My idea is to make it up to 15 lakh crore industry in 5 years. And this is the industry which is giving majority tax revenue for the government, creating employment potential, and we are expecting having huge export of automobile components and cars. The all prestigious world-class automobile brands are present in India. By using this new technology, we are opening new gateway of development to the country. With these few words, I once again thank Mr. Marcos Pontis. Really, you are a role model. Your country is a role model as far as the ethanol is concerned. I always inspired and motivate by your successful experiments. I always giving reference a successful experiment Brazil to the people of our country. When I talking with the farmers, I always giving the example of the Brazil. So you are the world leader in ethanol. I will appreciate your guidance, your cooperation, and we'll make more collaboration. And also I giving my special thanks, and I will suggest you that you should take the initiative to have a more interaction, cooperation, and at the same time we can make win-win situation for both the country with the automobile industry, the association like SIOM, and also with the ministries like the Transport Ministry, Petroleum Ministry, and we need to take more initiative in this field because this is going to be a great contribution as per the climate change is concerned. And air pollution, water pollution, sound pollution is a big problem. You are all in Delhi. You know what type of reputation we have about the Delhi in the whole world. Our city is supposed to be one of the highest polluted city in the world. This is not a good thing. Now we are planning to take all container depot, godowns, repelling plant, cold storage, fruit, vegetable wholesale markets on the peripheral ring road. And we are making the road construction of 60,000 crore near to Delhi to reduce the pollution. And if we can take using the successful experiment of Brazil, we will reduce the air pollution in Delhi and we will increase the reputation as far as the ecology and environment is concerned that Delhi is free from all type of pollution. That is really a very, very important task and agenda for all of us and also for CI and people like you. Your initiative is really, really very good. The subject is very much touching to my heart. I am giving my special thanks to you and also the thanks to Honorable Minister of Brazil. It's really a great pleasure for me to interact with him. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. When you speak on this subject, you speak from the heart. When you speak on this subject, you speak with so much of clarity, so much of commitment to sustainability. We see the passion, we see the knowledge, we see your vision. And we feel excited. We feel ourselves extremely, extremely well guided. And we commit once again to work with you under your leadership to really take forward the messages that you gave to us, the suggestions and advice that you gave to us to really make India also on the top of the world. We see the commitment of India. We see the vision in India. And we see leaders like you, Honorable Minister. And we feel confident that we will also have a great story to say. We are already having a great story to say. We'll have a great story to say in this space. And by the next meeting, in 1 year's time when we meet, we'll also once again invite the Honorable Minister of Brazil, and we will see how both of you who have started this great session today, the collaboration opportunities that you have given to us, the opportunities for cooperation, we will take each one of them forward. This particular bioenergy summit could not have been a better start than having two great leaders who have commitment, who have a track record, and who have so much of knowledge to give us this real good vision and start. And we from the industry, sir, from CII, commit to you that we will take all the stakeholders along. We'll take sectoral associations like SIAM. We will talk to the other ministries, and we will work very closely with country like Brazil to see that we are able to take advantage fully to take this forward. From industry, as you see, Torun and Shishir Joshipura, both of them pretty much leading this work within CII. We have a full committee now on within CII to take this leadership. So with that, I'd like to once again thank both our ministers for giving us such a fantastic start to this World Summit. Thank you. Thank you very much.